welcome to my kitchen. I'm Judith, and if you watched last week's episode, you will know that I said that I will do the potato dish separately, otherwise it would end up to be a horribly long video. So today we are doing the potatoes. So these are called Dauphinoise potatoes, similar to potatoes au gratin or scallop potatoes. They're all in a lot of ways very similar, but in a lot of ways very different. I'm sure they're all pretty much just versions of a dish, and who knows which one came first. The scallop potatoes would be more of a home-style dish, I think, whereas the Dauphinoise is a more refined dish, and the au gratin falls somewhere in between. For potatoes au Dauphinoise, I have russet potatoes. Now, there are a couple other varieties you could use, but they don't seem to be available around here. Garlic, and you should have shallots, but of course I didn't get shallots. So I'm just going to use a little bit of red onion, Gruyere cheese, and cream. Now you can use double cream and milk. I usually just go with cream. So first thing to do is peel and cut our potatoes into very, very thin slices. So I'm using russets, as I said. You could use Maris Piper or King Edward, but they're very similar to a russet, and they aren't varieties that I can get around here. So the easiest way to cut your potatoes is use a mandolin, and you have to be very, very careful. That blade is extremely sharp. I will use the guard when I get down to a level that I think my fingers are in danger. And let me show you how thin these are coming. I have it on the smallest setting. So these are so thin you can almost see through them. Always close your blade before you wash your mandolin. So that gives a fairly full bowl of very thin, as I said, almost see-through potato slices. So we're just going to set that aside while we prepare the rest. So continue with our potatoes. We need a couple of garlic cloves. And we want them whole. We just want to skin them. I have 3 here. So maybe give them a bit of a bash. If you have to get the skins off, but we are going to take them out. We don't want them in our finished dish. They are just to flavor things. Put those in there. Now, depending on how many potatoes you have, that will determine how much cream you need to use. And this is a mixture of cream, like 33% cream and 18% cream. And I'm going to add more of the 18% because I have a lot of potatoes, a lot more than I expected. So now since that's all cream, if it's not enough, you could add some water just to thin it out a bit. But we're going to bring this to a simmer, and then we're going to drain our potatoes and add them. So remember, we have these lovely sliced potatoes, and since we are going to put them into the cream, we don't need them dry, terribly dry. We just want to get most of the water off. A few tea towels I keep in reserve for that sort of thing, rather than having to go through a load of paper towels. First I'll drain off most of the water. And then we're just going to put them here. And just kind of pat them dry. You know, spread them out a little bit. Because we are going to simmer these in the cream until they are tender, not fully cooked, but just tenderish, like bendable. These are not bendable. Okay, now that our cream is simmering, we're going to add our potatoes to it. We're only going to cook them for about 3 minutes. See if we can get them down in there. And get the heat up to get them simmering again. We are just going to let them simmer for about 3 minutes. So while we're waiting for that to come to a simmer, we're going to turn our oven to 340 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to grate our Gruyere cheese. And I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, but it's actually not one of my favorite cheeses. So, and we want probably, well, we want enough to cover our casserole. So I've got 150 grams here. I'm not going to use all of it. Probably going to go with 75 grams. Maybe a little more. That should be good. Yeah, that one's not bad. Don't know what it was I had before that I didn't like, but I could have sworn it was Gruyere. Okay, and potatoes aren't quite cooked. And it depends on how thick you cut them, how long you want to boil them or simmer them in the cream. But once they've softened, take them out. And remove the garlic. Discard the garlic. It's not going in the finished dish. And layer them. Now I think mine could have cooked a little longer, but I have cooked them longer before. And they were just too soft to deal with. So you want to make them into nice layers. Everything's in there. And you don't want this to be in a deep dish. You want it in a wide, shallow dish, or it won't cook properly. And then we're going to pour in the cream. There we go. And that is a little higher with the cream than I was thinking, but move the potatoes around and get them in there. This will probably boil over, but that's okay. I always put a tray in my oven. So make sure you have this in the center of the oven. And put the cheese. There we go. So again, depending on how many potatoes you used and how thick you cut them, this could take 35, 40 minutes up to an hour. So since I did the Dauphinoise potatoes separately as a video from the rest of my rack of lamb video, you get the taste test separately too. So let's see. These are Dauphinoise potatoes. They are very, very thinly sliced potatoes cooked in cream. And topped with Gruyere cheese, which I didn't think I liked. I had it once a long, long time ago, and it was very strong. But your palate changes over time. So I find it's quite nice now. The potatoes still retain some integrity. They're not mush. But they are soft and cooked. And the cream and the cheese. And a little tiny hint of garlic in there. These are actually quite delightful. They would make a wonderful side dish when you're making a fancy dinner, as they did for my rack of lamb. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this gives you an idea of what to do with potato for your next fancy dinner. And I want some of that cheese. Oh, lovely crispy cheese on the outside. It was so good. Please give the video a like. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing. Hit the bell icon and you'll know when I put up a new video. And I will be back again soon with another video for your enjoyment. Thank you so much.